Oxford City Schools and is a highly respected educator across the state of Tennessee. She has served as a State Department ESOL peer tutor, and in 2004, she was awarded the Tennessee Association for Adult Education and Community Education Outstanding Volunteer for the whole state of Tennessee. Heather volunteers for numerous organizations, and she lives each day by her personal motto, which is, leave every place a little better than you found it. Both Sheila and Heather have a real passion for helping others, and we thank you for your years of dedication and hard work. You will be greatly missed by your students and your team members. We love you, and we wish you the very best in your retirement. At this time, we'd like to present both of you with a small token of our appreciation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce you our entertainment for tonight. This individual is a multi-talented musician who plays numerous instruments. He has already played the saxophone for us tonight, and he will be playing the authentic Scottish bagpipes. He's played professionally, and he's recorded several contemporary Christian albums. In addition, he has also played in a contemporary Christian band who opened for the award-winning artists, the Crabb Family and the Isaacs. At this time, it is my privilege to introduce to you our 2009 GED graduate, Mr. Mike O'Neill.
Our speaker tonight has an inspiring story to share with you. Burke Greer is a man of perseverance. He came into adult education on June 8, 2004, and progressed quickly through the practice test and on to the official GED test. Now, as you all know, passing the GED test makes you want to conquer other challenges in your life. Burke wanted to go to college, and go to college he did. He entered Northeast State that fall, and then he transferred to Tusculum College in Greenville, Tennessee. Tusculum offered a degree in museum studies, and that was the degree that Burke wanted to pursue. Burke studied hard and became an honor roll student. In fact, he studied so much and did so well that he was the recipient of the Alvin Gerhardt Scholarship for Museum Studies. Burke has worked at the President Andrew Johnson Museum and Library in Greenville. He has also developed outreach programs for the Southwest Virginia Museum Historical State Park, as well as programs for the Reese Museum at ETSU. Burke is presently employed with the National Park Service and plans to pursue his master's degree this fall at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland. It is with great pleasure and a whole lot of pride that I introduce to you your speaker for the evening, Mr. Burke Greer.
I'd like to start by saying thanks to everybody. It's truly a pleasure to be here. It is so ironic that I'm standing here in front of you tonight. A lot of things have changed in my life in the past 5 years. I'd like to thank Dr. Biller for inviting me here for starters, but also Debbie Taylor. If our paths had not crossed 5 years ago, I would not be standing here. Absolutely would not be standing here. And my wife for putting up with me and for being a support to me while I tried to further my education. I'm 38 years old right now. I have an 8-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old son here in Kingsport, but originally I'm from Wise County, Virginia, over in the Norton-Big Stone Gap area. Generally, when I lived in Norton-Big Stone Gap, the opportunities were very limited indeed. Even more limited if you didn't have a high school diploma. I did not graduate from high school. I left school about 9 weeks shy of graduation to go to work to make money for my family. In my area where I grew up, if you got a job with the post office or the phone company or the coal mines or the power company, one of those type of jobs, you were expected to get that job, work there for 30 years, and then retire. I was offered a job at a telephone company just prior to graduation, so I left to take that job. You think you're going to be somewhere 30 years, but then after you do a job that you don't like to do for a very long time, things begin to wear on you. And I got the guts to quit that job, and I felt like I had jumped off a cliff. And it was almost a good and a bad feeling at the same time. But when I left that job, I didn't know where my next dollar was coming from, but I immediately started looking for jobs. And I immediately began to realize how limited I was without a high school diploma. I know exactly what it's like to fill out a job application and have to check that box that asks if you have graduated from high school. Sometimes you check yes and hope they don't call and check. That's the kind of things that I've done. And it truly was something to overcome. I met my wife and we moved here to Kingsport, and I began to secretly take GED classes. My wife did not know that I had not graduated from high school. Hardly anybody knew that I hadn't graduated from high school. It's something that I hid very well. I was embarrassed of it, as a matter of fact. I began to take adult classes, telling my wife I was just taking classes to sort of prepare myself to try to go back to college. Till one evening I come home to crossed arms and a padded foot on the floor, and she says, they just called and you scored really well on your GED. You passed your GED. Now, why don't you tell me that you didn't get your GED, or tell me why you hadn't let me know that you were getting this GED. And I told her flat out I was very embarrassed of that. But when I passed my GED, for starters, I want everybody that's sitting here to know that's graduating tonight, and pardon my language, but getting a GED, in my opinion, is a big damn deal. Okay? It is. It is the cornerstone of everything. It's the cornerstone of everything that I've been able to build on for the last 5 years. Absolutely. Dr. Biller, when I met with him a couple of weeks ago to arrange for me to come and speak with you tonight. He said a phrase that I'm sure he probably says every day and doesn't really realize the impact of it, but he may. But he said to me, the power of a second chance. And after meeting with him that day, I repeated that in my head over and over again. The power of a second chance. And the power of that second chance is something that's real. You can wield that power. You can use that power. You can benefit from that power. Now, I mentioned that I worked for 9 years at a telephone company and quit. I entered the job market at that time as a 26-year-old without a diploma. So, you know, I'm a grown man at this point, and I'm getting jobs, or not getting jobs, rather, over 18, 19-year-old kids, and that's adding even more to the humiliation for me, so I know that I have to do something about it. I've done lots of things over the years. I've worked in fast food, of course. I've worked in sales. I've been a grave digger. I have worked as an electrician in all the sewer plants in a 5-county area in Virginia, and there's nothing like 5 counties worth of wastewater. I'm here to tell you there's nothing quite like that at all. So I've done lots of jobs that I had to do, but I didn't like to do. But I knew there had to be more out there, truly. I got a job with Virginia State Parks on a whim. I got a job mowing the grass at a state park, and I loved it. I loved mowing the grass for them and doing the landscape. Even though it was entry level, I felt like I was doing something good, and my momentum built from that job. I mentioned once I got the GED exam out of the way, my confidence really boosted and built from that. I went at that point to Northeast State, but again, I only went for about a semester, had to quit, had to go back to work, had to make money. I again thought, college is just not in my future at all. I'm too busy trying to survive than to go to college. So I was sort of taken aback by that just a bit, but I sort of struggled through that. And then a neighbor told me about Tusculum College. Tusculum College has a program called the Gateway Program, and you go and take night classes. You go to class 1 night a week. And I figured that I could change my life around a bit and try this. And once I started, I began to make A after A after A, and my confidence continued to build. And I realized I'm going to be able to do this. I came from a high school where no one told me that I was going to go to college or even asked me if it's something that I was interested in. That's the kind of background I came from, and here I was sitting in a classroom doing homework, doing presentations, doing reports, and was making good grades, and I knew at that point that I could succeed. Once I started taking the night classes, I began to take classes on a 5-day-a-week basis at Tusculum. I actually picked up my life, and you may could say it was a proverbial Etch-a-Sketch. I gave my life a good shake, and I put it back down, and I started from scratch. I knew that I had to do that if I was going to ever be anything in this world. Now, I realized at the time I was in school that I was living a dream that I didn't even know that I had until I was sitting in that seat and listening to that professor. It was truly a life-changing experience for me. I graduated from Tusculum College on May the 9th of this year. After 4 years, I received my bachelor's degree in museum studies. I received employment with the National Park Service, the U.S. Department of Interior, a job that I always thought I'd like to have, but I figured there was no chance, especially with my education. I was hired. I am standing here before you living a dream. I live a dream on a daily basis, and all of it started with getting the GED through this adult program. For me, absolutely. The job that I do right now for the Park Service is I work for the Andrew Johnson National Historic Site in Greenville, Tennessee. So when I go to work every day, I go to work first thing into a 180-year-old building. And I get to hold things like the curtains that were hanging in the White House when President Lincoln was there. And all sorts of things you can't even imagine I get to do now that I have an advanced degree. And I could not have had that degree had I not got my GED, of course. Now, Dr. Biller, I'm sure he asked me here, not necessarily because of my accomplishments or what I've been able to do in a short period of time, but he asked me to come speak to you because I am one of you. I'm standing here, one of you. I am but one example of the power of a second chance. You all have the power of a second chance beginning right now. And the power is very strong, and you really need to realize what you have, and don't let anything stand in your way. Nothing at all Nothing at all. You're the only thing that can stand in your way at this point. I just received within the last couple of weeks my acceptance letter to Johns Hopkins University. If you had asked me 5 years ago, would I be standing here, I would have laughed at you. If you had said you're going to be going to Johns Hopkins in 5 years, I would have fell on the ground laughing at you. I would never even know what Johns Hopkins University is necessarily. But I'm standing here today telling you that in the fall I'm going to be going to Johns Hopkins University, and again, it's because I achieved my GED through this program. It absolutely is for that reason. So I know what it's like to think that you can't go back and do something. I know what it's like to have a lack of confidence, to have a lack of support, to have a lack of time, to have a lack of motivation. But now we all know the elation of getting this GED, and right now there shouldn't be a lack of anything except for good feelings and happiness from everybody. Once again, I want to tell everybody, I'm not trying to beat this to death, but what you've done, it is a big deal. It's a great big deal, and you can succeed and you can excel from this program that you've gone through. It's only the door that's cracked open, and it's going to widen. It's going to widen for you quickly. The GED program is important. To close here, I want to say, because our children need us, our families need us, and our country needs us in the workforce right now with the economy and things being the way they are. I just want to leave you knowing that you can do anything from this point, and you should. You should feel good about yourself. You should have your family feeling good about you as well. And I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud to be standing here in front of you this evening. And I thank you so much.
Dr. Kitzmiller, on behalf of the Department of Labor and Workforce Development, and on behalf of the Kingsport Sullivan County GED program, it is my honor and privilege to present to you the class of 2009. With the first note, please stand up.
Jeff Barnett. Michael Bean. Michelle Baer. Michael Bragg. Carlonda Casio. Daniel Copas. Heather Copas. Austin Cox. Alan Cox. Jonathan Cravens. Gene Crawford. Aaron Fields. Joanna Fisher. Christy Hartman. Larry Hilton Jr. Frank Hoffman. Danielle Kinsler. Martha Lagunas. Amanda Ledger. Rebecca Lee. Daisy Leonard. Josh Lofty. Angel Lubrano. Bradley McLean. Lloyd Manus. Dustin Marshall. Kelly Martin. Courtney Mock. Vicky McDowell. Mike O'Neill. Clifford Pierce. Rebecca Henley. Monica Prue. Brandy Ramey. Josh Reimer. Regina Rivenbark. Monica Roller. Stephanie Skaggs. David Smith. Christopher Snap. Stephen Thomas. Diana Wonick. Alexis Weston. Eddie Williams. John Willis. Ashley Young.
Pictures are important. Thank you for your patience.
Let's give a big round of applause for the graduating class. Each of you has different talents, different dreams, and different destinations. Yet you all have the power to make a new tomorrow. It's been an honor for the GED staff to assist you in preparing to take and pass the GED. And we wish you continuing success in the future. At the end of our ceremony tonight, we ask our guests to remain standing and let the graduates leave first so they can go to the robing room and get their real certificate
and leave their robes with us. And we want to thank everyone for attending our graduation tonight. And we hope that all of you will join us for refreshments in the foyer. And now we will all stand and let the graduates leave first.